Yeah, so today's video is going to be about my LASIK eye surgery, and I will also link into the description the blog that I wrote about it in case um, you want to click on like the little links for the things I mentioned and stuff that you might want to get for yours. This will be a mixture of like physically what I experienced as well as some of the metaphysical what I experienced and what I believe. So if you're not really into the metaphysical, I would still watch the video because there's some really valuable stuff about the physical aspect of LASIK. So let us begin. Um, so with LASIK eye surgery, it's like you kind of go into it blind in a sense because like I don't feel like anybody tells you how jarring the experience is, or at least it was for me here in New Mexico. Um, they were like, "Oh, it's a really quick procedure, um, no big deal." And then they lay you down and they clamp your eye open. They offered me a stuffed animal and a blanket, which was nice, but like my nervous system like freaked out, right? And my nervous system, like I started holding my breath and stuff because when they clamp your eye open, it's like super jarring because your eyes are like some of your primary senses, like one of your primary senses, right? So then when you're not able to blink, it like freaks out the nervous system. And then I've heard stories of people having LASIK and then they're given something to help them sleep afterwards. I was not given anything to help me sleep afterwards. And I had the appointment in the morning. So it really sucked because like I tried to take like some tinctures like valerian and chamomile and lemon balm and some stuff to help soothe my nervous system and help me relax to fall asleep, but like I couldn't fall asleep at all. And so, I mean, I've heard people just tell stories of like how awesome it was. They slept for 4 hours and their vision was good. I ended up having to lay there and listen to audiobooks. And it took me about 24 hours for my nervous system to relax. I did use some CBD. I bought CBD sodas. However, that turned problematic later because realize the CBD, like the tinctures, still have like the tiniest percent of THC in them. And I don't know if it's the CBD or the THC, but something in either or definitely was drying out my eyes, which you're already going to have dry eyes when you get LASIK. So I do not necessarily suggest doing CBD for too long, maybe short term to relax and calm yourself, but then not longer than that. And when you're in the operating room or whatever, you will smell your eyeball burning, and that's kind of jarring. And then like they like drop all these eye drops in your eyes as they're doing what they're doing, and then you see a bunch of like laser light, like red lights, and I guess just like regular lights. Um, which is jarring too, because like you want to blink so bad you can't blink, and then you have all these eye drops going in your eyes. There's bright lights, and then you're trying really hard to breathe, and yeah, it's just kind of a lot. And then so yeah, I was disoriented for sure when I came out. And then they didn't really do the greatest job of like explaining like how to take care of your eyes afterwards. So I kind of had to trial and error and figure it out myself, which I'm a huge believer in being your own advocate for your health. So I had already started like reading stuff before I went in. I did buy, I think it's called AcuSoft eyelid scrubs. They're wipes, but you're not supposed to rub your eyes, right? So I was a little bit worried about using those. So I also bought the AcuSoft like foam wash or something, and I used that in the shower. I bought a little mirror for the shower so that way I could see my eyes when I was rinsing my eyelashes. Because after using all the eye drops, you're going to get a ton of little white crusties, and the crusties build up, and then your eyelashes tend to kind of like get stuck or break. And yeah, like you just want to constantly clean them. So then when you're washing them in the shower with the foam, you'll be like this with the foam, and you'll just gently go back and forth, just touching the lash line, not the eyeball. And then if you do notice any eyelashes, you'll want to pull down and away. You don't want to like push up or like anything like that. You just try to get them down so they don't get back in your eye or bounce back in your eye. Eyelashes are weird, I discovered. Um, and yeah, they didn't tell me any of that. So I totally suggest buying the OcuSoft foam as well as the eyelid scrubs for when you are able to actually touch your eyes. Um, that'll help your eyelashes stay clean. And then with eye drops, I did not like the eye drops that they gave me at the LASIK Institute. I think they use the Blink brand. They made my eyes way more dry, way more irritable. And so I had to experiment a little bit to figure out which eye drops were perfect for my eyes. And what it came down to was because you're going to want to use the preservative free while your eye flaps are healing, because sometimes preservatives can irritate the eyes and cause infection. So I used the preservative free Refresh Active ones. I used Sustain for a little bit, but after a while, the Sustain ones started to annoy me. But those ones were really good for me for about, I don't know, like a month. And then after about a month, I switched to the Refresh Active. I live in the desert, so dry eye out here is like a bitch because it's dry all the time, right? Like all the time. So yeah, so I mean, you might not need as many eye drops if you're living somewhere that's humid. Because I know when I visited Missouri to visit my mom, I didn't use nearly as many eye drops when I was visiting. But anyways, out here, like for 1 month, I used the Sustain drops, and then after that, I switched to Refresh Optive. And about 3 weeks into, not even three, about 2 weeks into LASIK, I used I don't know if I'm going to say this name right. It's Boiron eye drops. They're a homeopathic brand at Sprouts, Boiron. There's another homeopathic one. I tried them. I don't like those ones. They dried my eyes out and they made them kind of like foggy. These ones I love because they have calendula in them, and calendula is used for healing scar tissue, which your eyes are going to scar from the lasers, right? So to me, to use eye drops that are actually proactive in healing your eyes, as well as the ones that are proactive in lubricating your eyes, well, even the healing ones will lubricate your eyes. Like I think that's just a much wholesome approach. And they're not going to tell you about these eye drops at the LASIK Institute or wherever you go. So do your research, figure out what works for you. For me, I am about 3 months post op on LASIK. By the time this video comes out, I'll probably be like 6 months post op. But for me, I have spent about $500 in eye drops. So keep that in mind. Like you're also paying for like the surgery and you're gonna have a monthly payment, but you're also gonna want to set aside some money so you have enough eye drops to get by. And not everybody's gonna have dry eyes. Everybody heals differently. My eyes just have been dry, I think, especially because I'm in the desert. Stay hydrated. The more hydrated you are, the easier it is for your eyes to heal and lubricate, as well as just it's good for the rest of your body to be hydrated. Um, and then see, the first couple weeks, I took about 2 or 3 weeks. No, I took 3 weeks off from work. My eyes were kind of like delayed, and then I was really, really light sensitive. I developed what they call photopia or photophobia. I don't know how to say it. Um, so with that, that occurs, from my understanding, that occurs a week or two after you get LASIK, and it seems it happens after you've been holed up in like a dark room for a little bit trying to protect your eyes. The body kind of assesses light as like not a friend, so then it becomes sensitive to light because it's trying to keep you out of the light to keep your eyes safe. The way through it is to slowly expose yourself to light. And I did some other like alternative health energy healing type things to help me through it. um, and photopia also um, can happen or be prolonged if you have dry eyes. So continue with the eye drops, definitely be hydrated. And then before you go into, my photopia has gone away. It went away about 2 or 3 weeks ago. No, probably about a month ago. So mine went away about 2.5 months after LASIK. I think I'm actually about 3.5 months post op. But then let's see, phobia, dry eyes. Um, oh, after LASIK, they tell you to like wear these little goggles in the shower and to sleep so you don't rub your eyes. I freaked myself out because I think it was like 2 weeks after LASIK, I did not use the goggles and I rubbed my eye and woke myself up in pain from it. However, positive, I did not move the flap, and from my understanding, the flap won't move after about 2 weeks. But for safety reasons, they tell you not to rub your eyes for about 6 months because it's a healing process. But although it did hurt and wake me up, like my vision did not change. Um, and I did not like the goggles. They were really hard to sleep on. I was so worried that they were going to drag across my face and like the flap. So I I bought a sleep mask that I much preferred. That is it's a little bit lifted. It has like padding like that thick. So then when it puts on your face, it keeps the thing away from touching your eyeballs. I bought one of those on Amazon. That'll be in that blog that I link in the description. That has been really helpful. I'm still sleeping with that. I probably will sleep with that for about 6 months. Um, just for peace of mind around my eyes. It took me a while to get used to sleeping with it, and I did put it on really tight to keep it from dragging because the LASIK technician told me some people have had to come in and redo their LASIK because their sleeping mask drags across their eye and moves the flaps. So I put mine on really snug. It wasn't the most comfortable at first, but I'd rather it be snug and not drag than have it drag and then, you know, possibly go blind. And then in the shower, I did use the sleep goggles. I was too scared to wash my eyes the first week because they said you could, no, the second week. I think they said the first week you wear the goggles. I was too scared to wash my eyes and my face and let water run on them still at the end of 1 week. So I just did face, like a face cloth, and I would wash my face like that. And then I would use the foam to clean my eyes. And then I think I actually let the water like hit my face and wash my eyes about 2 weeks after LASIK because that's when I felt safe about it. Um, and then I did get some blue light blocker glasses for when I finally did start watching TV and using my phone. I only used them for a little bit and then I stopped using them, although it's probably a good idea to keep using them because it helps your eyes. And when driving, I did not use these, but I heard about these. There's glasses for headlight glare, so you might want to invest in those if you haven't had the surgery yet, just in case. Because for me, my job when I went back, there's a lot of nighttime driving, and it was really bright, and I got really headachy and really teary-eyed. And I mean, it's like the photopia and the light sensitivity; you just need exposure. But like, yeah, it was a process. And then for me, the first couple weeks, I could definitely feel my brain and my eyes talking to each other. And it would like to me what that means to me is like they were talking to each other. Like I would feel just different like head pressure, like the back of the head, the front of the head, side. Like it would move. It wasn't like a headache, it was just really uncomfortable. And I also noticed my eyes would get really overstimulated at first. So like I had my husband take me for a drive just because I wanted to like see how my far vision was versus my near. Um, and that did give me a headache because the desert, it's really bright and open skies out here. And then well, it was really cool to see without glasses. Like I didn't do that too often, but I noticed as we would drive by like billboards and stuff, like my eyes would kind of lag and roll following the signs that would go by as they got used to like the new adjustments. um and the first like month, I definitely would still reach for my glasses in the morning and forget that I had LASIK because you still wear goggles and stuff, and you have to wear sunglasses, and like so it's like it hasn't quite registered, you know. And then the first couple of months, I definitely caught myself like going to reach for my contacts to take them out when my eyes would get dry at night. Um, my eyes, the first couple of months had a hard time because I work swing shifts, so I would work 3 to 11, and then my job is notorious for having people be late or not show up on graveyard shifts. So my eyes would be really, really tired and dry and achy the first few months after LASIK. I don't know how people like say it's like a weekend thing and go back to computer screens and stuff right away because like for me that was hard. Thankfully I had a really nice coworker that would do the computer stuff for me, and then I would do the other stuff. However, even returning to work was really hard for me because there's a ton of fluorescent lights where I work, and there's a big window on the side that does all this like scattered light, which didn't used to bother me, but since my eye like lens or film or whatever was healing, the scattered light was really disorienting and uncomfortable. So I had to go to work for about, I think, a month, maybe like a month and a half, with a baseball cap, and then I put flowers on a baseball cap, just to keep my eyes shaded from the fluorescent lighting because that was just like a lot. And the fluorescent lighting for my eyes, I noticed, really does dry them out. I haven't been having, oh, it's getting dark. Let's see, I haven't been having to, okay, that works. I haven't been having to, use as much eye drops at work, but I do notice that the fluorescent lighting definitely dries my eyes out more than when I'm at home because like we use like a lot of really like warm lighting at the house and salt lamps and stuff. Like even these, I don't know if you can tell, but they're not like the brightest. I mean, whatever. So at home I don't use nearly as many eye drops now, but however, even like 3.5 months post-op, like I do still use eye drops at work, and I'm still using like the preservative free eye drops. Well, I hope none of you have LASIK and are looking at these lights right now. I'm sorry. So, um, I do use the preservative free eye drops still. However, I have started using the little like dropper bottles that aren't preservative free. I use the Refresh one. It's like a green one. Um, I use that one more so at night when my eyes have been open for a really long time and I just really need extra lubrication, and I can afford to like waste some eye drops. Um, by waste some eye drops, I mean like that's cheaper than the preservative free one. So I'll use that one at night nowadays to just extra lube up my eyes if I'm at work doing night driving. Um, and then let's see what else. When you do wash your eyes, be really careful with them. Oh, and then vitamins. So before LASIK, it's a good idea to start taking vitamins to help your eye health. There are some studies on this about omega 3s. Um, if you take them about a month before LASIK, it cuts the dry eye time in half. Because you're gonna get dry eye either way. Your eye got burned by a laser. It's gonna happen. Sorry. But either way, like if you take the omega 3 fish oil tablets about a month before and continue taking them throughout your recovery, that will help alleviate the dry eyes a lot, and that will also help your body in the healing process. And then I also recommend buying lutein, Lutein, as well as vitamin A. And another one, this one I've only found in a couple articles versus the other ones I've seen in quite a few articles. Vitamin B2 uh, is associated with photopia and light sensitivity and dry eyes. So if you have a deficiency in B2, that might be prolonging your light sensitivity. Um, so I would totally stock up on all of those. Oh, and vitamin C. Forget what the vitamin C. I know it helps with like eye health, but I forget what else it helps with. Um, Oh, and that reminds me. So vitamins, you want to do the vitamins a month before, definitely the first month, and I would say the second and third month. Like this is a process for the eyeballs. And even if you feel good right away, it doesn't hurt to take vitamins for a little bit just to support your eyes that you spent a pretty penny on, right? Um, so then, oh, so then when you get an eyelash in your eye, which is probably going to happen, um, there's not a lot of articles on there on what to do online. So the way I got eyelashes out of my eye was really carefully, and it was not a fun process. You'll know when you have eyelash in your eye because if it's like fresh LASIK, your eye is gonna freaking burn. Thankfully, I didn't get one until about a month in, which is still pretty fresh. But about a month in, I got mine, maybe 3 weeks in, and it burns a lot, and it feels like something is like literally scratching your eye because your eye's still healing, right? And then on top of that, you'll notice that the eye dries out way quicker because it's busy trying to flush out the eyelash. So when that happens, um, from what I gathered on just like reading different people's like LASIK experiences online, which a lot of people make fun of Google, but if you use your discernment and stuff, you can definitely be your own health advocate and like learn stuff that is useful that the eye doctor is not going to tell you about. Like all the LASIK Institute told me over and over is use more eye drops. I'm like, that does not tell me about supplementation. That does not tell me about dry eyes. That doesn't tell me about photopia. That doesn't tell me how to get eyelashes out of my eyes. That doesn't tell me how to clean my eyes. Like nothing. All of my stuff was like done very thoroughly online. Don't let people knock you for being your own advocate. Anyways, so eyelashes. So I would lay flat on a bed and then get someone that lives in your household or a friend or you're like a lone wolf and don't have anybody, like ask your neighbor for help. Or just be really, really careful. Maybe you'd have to do it sitting up and looking at a mirror. But I would lay flat on the bed. This is how I got eyelashes out of my eyes. I would lay flat on the bed and look straight at the ceiling, and then my husband would grab like my eyelid by the eyelashes, that, and then he would pull it forward and up a little bit, and he would be really careful not to touch my eyeball. And then he would drop, um, at that time, the preservative-free drops in my eye, and then I would roll my eye around as he was holding my eyelashes, and then as I would roll it around, he would do a few more drops to like try to flush it, and then he would have to look really close at my eye, and he would clean some tweezers, and then he would see where the eyelash was starting to peek out of the eyelid line, and then he would like pull that out. Um, I've gotten really good about checking my eyelashes all the time, so I constantly am just gently pulling them out and forward, um, just so that way they don't get in my eye. It's just really annoying to try to get them out. They've stopped getting in my eyes as much now that I'm about 3.5 weeks or 3.5 months post op, because I'm not using as many eye drops. I feel like the eye drops skunk up your eyelashes, and that's why they break and fall in your eye. So, anyways, it's a process to get it out. I think the first time we got it out in like 30 minutes. um, and thankfully my husband is really patient, and we were able to get through it, because I was definitely worried he was going to poke my eye out, and I was irritable and not the most trusting of it, but I had to just roll with it because I couldn't do it. So yeah. And then let's see what else about eyeballs. Definitely don't rub your eyes. I've not tried to wear makeup. I have seen some videos on YouTube about wearing makeup after LASIK. I did talk to one girl that she had LASIK a few months before me, and I asked her if she wore makeup, and she said she had started wearing mascara again, but nothing else. She said the mascara would still make her eyes water. So I don't know. I don't really have much on the makeup side of things. I totally miss my eyeshadows and stuff, but I think I might just wait until I'm like 6 months post op. Because yeah, I don't know, mascara sometimes is really hard to get off, and I don't want it in my eyes. And I remember getting eye boogers with like mascara and stuff, so I don't know. But if you're watching this and you know, or like you're watching this and you've had LASIK and you're just intrigued by this because maybe you're still having something going on, but you've worn makeup and have an idea of how that goes, please comment in the video, and that way other people who watch the video know about the makeup thing. Um, what else? What else? Definitely make sure you have multiple pairs of polarized sunglasses. Um, I bought 2 pairs of sunglasses before surgery, and I lost one pair like a week before surgery. And I think I only had them like 2 weeks in advance. You'll definitely want a couple of pairs of polarized. And I created like a little glasses box that was just filled with sunglasses and blue light blockers. And then I put blue light blockers on all of the computers. I could not find a blue light blocker for my phone though. However, that's good because then it kind of kept me off my phone, which is good. And then you don't want to do anything too strenuous with your eyes, in my opinion. Being an advocate for the body's wisdom and health and just caring for yourself. You don't want to do too much with your eyes too soon. So try to just keep it really light with your eyes and keep them closed and listen to audiobooks or meditations or relaxing music. It's a time to just like be with yourself and relax anyways. So just surrender to it. It'll be better for you and your eyes. Um, what else? Nighttime brightness went away for me about 2.5 months after LASIK, I think. And so now here's where I'm going to share a little bit about some of my metaphysical approaches, as well as just like self-healing approaches and what have you. Um, so I am of the belief system that like I'm of the belief system of like the wisdom of the body and the mind body connection, and that our bodies are actually our friends and our allies, and they're working for us, not against us. So with that said, in the world of metaphysicians and metaphysics and the esoteric knowledge that's out there, they say that when you wear glasses, usually something has happened to you about 2 or 3 years before you started wearing glasses that you did not like seeing. And so, as a form of like self preservation and self protection, the eyes distort your vision to protect you from that reality that you are not enjoying seeing and experiencing and being in. Um, so, with that said, I started wearing glasses when I was like 4 or 5. And a few years before that, my biological mom walked out on me and ran away and married a highly toxic man. And then she had a child with him. And then she and I entered like this weird relationship where we're kind of like sisters and she's not really like my mom. Um, so yeah, like little Tisha didn't like that. And to self preserve, she distorted her vision. And I wore glasses from age 4 till age 33. So when I set up my appointment for LASIK, I figured I've been doing enough self work for the last like three. Well, I've been therapy the last 3 years. I've been doing self work probably like the last 5 years. Um, I've been doing enough like combined therapy, self work, energy work, and all that that I believe that the reality that I am working on experiencing and creating um, is not a harmful reality, and it's reality that I am going to enjoy experiencing and being in. And so I believe that having gotten LASIK, that my eyes are only going to continue to improve because there's no like threats or anything in this new reality that I'm in. I'm not 4-year-old Tisha. I have like a lot of healthy boundaries going and in place with like family members, and I am in a loving marriage and relationship with my divine masculine, and I'm in a loving and sacred relationship with myself as well. And so I don't feel that my eyesight is going to really deteriorate in like the ways that people say happens as you get older. Um, and yeah, that is my belief. And so it was interesting going into LASIK because I knew in order for that vision to be so, and in order for me to like see the world through like a lens of beauty and new vision, I knew there was going to be something that had to pop off before that to make room, like internally, like like any like emotional pimples needed to be popped and worked out to make way for the physical changes of eye surgery. Because in metaphysics, like the mental, emotional, spiritual bodies, all the work happens up there first and then it trickles down into the physical because this is the densest body. And so I knew there was probably something else that was going to pop off right before. And then, yeah, sure enough, like my husband and I got in a huge, huge fight. We called it the blowout. We almost got divorced. And it just really opened my eyes to all the self hatred and anger that I had stored in my body all these years. And it really, like, catalysted me into some more self transformation and deep work. And I ended up going into this really powerful boot camp, and that really helped me shift my relationship with my feminine, my inner feminine, as well as just like um, my womb and my body and everything, which then also helped me surrender more to love in my marriage and my relationship and the beauty of my marriage and my relationship with my husband. Um, so that was not like the most fun feeling to go through all of that. It was really, really difficult and painful. And I don't know if we did a video on that yet, but if not, maybe I'll do one later. But anyways, all that came out right before LASIK, and then um, we were still kind of recovering from that going into LASIK, and so and then I started the boot camp. I think like 2 or 3 weeks after LASIK. So I was on the computer quite a bit after LASIK, but actually I think it was maybe a month after LASIK. But I only used the computer for that, and that was it. Like I tried really hard not to do anything on YouTube or Facebook or any of that. And so, anyways, and then the boot camp really helped move out and shift out some really like not beautiful internal narratives that were going on about myself and being a woman and all the inner patriarchy stuff that really bogs the energy field down. So um, for myself, with the complications that I did have with LASIK, which my complications had to do with light sensitivity and dry eyes. And then I had one eye that was a little blurrier than the other. That's normal for one to be a little off for a little bit. Um, it balances out over time. Um, but for me, I think some of the light sensitivity from a metaphysical perspective, like people talk about light and love, and I mean, that's like a whole other conversation. But light, like I associate light of the highest light with love of the highest love. I think that's very divine. And so I think some of the light sensitivity was mirroring back to me and reflecting to me where I didn't think I was worthy of receiving light. Um, and so I kind of shied away from the light, especially because I felt like such a monster after how everything happened with my husband. Um, and so yeah, I see the light sensitivity is kind of reflective of like that inner like shying away from the light, like, or like parts of me that were being brought to light, and how it's kind of painful to have them brought to light. And I just saw that as my eyes kind of like working things out. However, I think that only happened with me because I have the belief systems that I have. And basically, whatever belief system you have, that's what's going to happen. That's your belief system. Um, like that's it. Like you might not believe anything I'm saying right now, and that's fine. That means it's probably not gonna happen for you in that way. However, my belief system. So yeah, that was part of the belief system stuff going on when I went into it. And then I had to do some journaling around like anger around things that I'd seen in my life and stuff like that. And then I also did some biofield tuning audio sessions from the Biofield Tuning store. Biofield Tuning has to do with tuning forks. It's like sound healing sessions in a sense. And it was created by Eileen McCusick, which I just got her book right before my birthday, right after that blowout that we had. And she has a biofield tuning package for the eyes and vision. It's 3 sessions for I think $40. And the sessions are layered, so every time you listen to them, you get a new level of information and a new bit of energy retrieved and brought back to your body. So I did that the week before LASIK, and then I did that I think about 3 times after LASIK. Which I had worked in the job that I had for a long time with fluorescent lights for a really long time. And the biofield tunings definitely touched on fluorescent lighting. So I think there's just a lot of energy to reverse, and since all that's going on in the energy body and stuff, like it's gonna have a trickle down effect. So some of the stuff I felt physical shifts right away, and or like the physical shifts were more like mental in a way. And then I know there's gonna be other physical shifts that I don't see maybe for like 6 months after those biofield tunings, right? Because the trickle down effect to the bodies, the energy body to the physical. However, I did that, and then I did Reiki on my eyes a little bit here and there, and then I have a mind body connection journal, so I just connected with my eyes and was just like journal anything the eyes wanted to journal it out. And then I also have a therapist that is mind body aware, and she also does energy work, and so she worked with me a little bit on eyes and things like that. And then I also did a little bit of um, self brain spotting. Brain spotting uses your eyes, and it's like a fixed eye gaze where you fixate on a certain spot and like go ahead and let the brain focus on like a specific memory or trauma so it can move it out of your body. Um, and so I did self brain spotting um, on LASIK. However, I don't know if I did it long enough, but I did it enough that I noticed like the very next day, like a lot of the sensitivity that I was having to like the nighttime driving went down a lot, like a lot. Like I was probably like 80% light sensitive, and it went down to maybe like 50% light sensitive. So it's still sensitivity, but it was just so noticeable. It was really interesting. And then it also seemed to help reduce some of the light sensitivity that I was having at work. But it didn't completely alleviate it. And then interestingly, I did a full brain spotting session with my soul sister because she is studying to incorporate brain spotting into her practice. And we did brain spotting on the topic of when I was homeless. And it was so fascinating because like that was just the topic we chose for the brain spotting. And I didn't think about my eyes going into it at all. And that was about almost 3 months post op. And the very next morning, my eyes were not as light sensitive and they were also not as dry. It was very fascinating. So I think because we brain spotted on a highly traumatic time in my life, a time I did not like seeing, right? I think that helped my eyes in their processing and moving stuff out so they could integrate like the LASIK that I received, which was really interesting. And then recently we just did another brain spotting session on my right hip surgery, my first hip surgery. I've had the right hip surgery and a left hip surgery, and we brain spotted on that. And I did become light sensitive for a few days after that. However, as my brain processed out what it needed to process, and as I moved really old anger and repressed rage out of my body, the light sensitivity went away, and the dry eye um, went like back to what it was before the brain spotting, where it was like minimal. Brain spotting seemed to kick it up just a little bit. But I think it's also because like I accessed some really old anger, and like when you're angry, like your senses and your nervous system are heightened. And so I think like my eyes like heightened to their sensitivity to light as the anger expressed and moved out of my body. And then as it moved out of my body, I think they just went back to like a healthy state. So I found that very interesting as well. And then what else? There was something else I did that was esoteric that was helpful with the eyes. Oh, and then I did like EFT tapping for my eyes too. So like I kind of like hit my LASIK from an all over comprehensive approach. Um, and I found that really, really helpful for me. Um, and then and then I used the Sonic Slider tuning fork from the Biofield tuning store on my face to just kind of help bring energy, healthy energy to my eyes. And so yeah, and it's interesting because at the start of LASIK, like I heard in my head 3 months was when everything would like clear up, and yeah, about 3 months is where everything really did start to clear up. I do have a little bit of apprehension about travel. However, I'm hoping that by the time this video comes out, hopefully the apprehension is gone. I think this video is scheduled to come out in October, and I am recording it in June. But I went to visit my mom in Missouri in May, and then we went to Florida in June. Oh, actually, it's the first week of July right now. And we went to Florida in June, and oddly, both trips, maybe because I went on the trips with new eyes and new vision, and I implemented new healing techniques that I learned from Mama Gina. One of them is called swamping, which is like a body, like an embodiment practice where you dance out your emotions, and the other is spring cleaning, where you kind of like vacuum out your emotions in a sense. Um, but I utilized spring cleaning and swamping a lot when I was visiting my mom, and then I utilized it while we were in Florida looking at houses. And oddly, going to my mom, I didn't really get airsick or anything. And with Florida, I didn't really get too airsick either on the way over. I got a little airsick, but not really. But on both trips coming back, I got super like motion sickness, and then the light sensitivity was like full blast, which I read about it, and I guess barometric pressure can increase your sensitivity to light. So I don't know if because I got LASIK and my eyes are still healing, um, if that's why they were so sensitive to traveling, as well as integrating the changes that were brought up in my body by using healthy coping tools for my toolkit around my mom, as well as around the stress of looking for a house. Kind of like a little combination effect of things. I don't know. So in September, I'll see, because I think September will be about, let's see, I have LASIK in March, April, May, June, July, August. So August will be about 6 months. So September will be about 7 months. So hopefully by then, since that is past the 6 month mark that I gave myself, my eyes aren't so light sensitive in the sky. Maybe I'll just pop a comment in once the video releases to let y'all know how that went. Um, I'm hoping though that they're not light sensitive. I used to be like so awesome with travel. Like I never was light sensitive or motion sickness or anything like that. So it was really startling to me to experience that. And then I was like super headachy and stuff too. And I never used to get jet lag, and I got jet lag when we moved to Florida. So I don't know. I think maybe it also mirrors to me like all the inner shifts that I have going on as we prepare to move to Florida. There's a lot of inner shifts, and there's a lot of identities dying. There's also parts of me that are like in gestation and getting ready to be born. And so maybe some of that light sensitivity and motion sickness and all that, it's just symbolic of all the inner changes that are going on and the chaos that I have going on inside of me as everything shifts into these timelines and realities that I'm like merging with and birthing. I will be going through a legal name change in September. Um, I'll be doing a video on that, and my business will be changing its name as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff moving inside of me. That could be why my tummy was moving in the sky and my eyes were like, ah, and I was headachy because things are just trying to like catch up to where I'm at and get more grounded, I guess, to reality. But yeah, that's what I got on LASIK. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. However, I will link that blog so that way you can read that. And if I did forget it, it might be in the blog. Um, and thank you for watching. And if you're going to have LASIK, best wishes. Take care of yourself. Love yourself in the process. Be patient with yourself. And definitely be your own advocate for your eye health. And yeah, listen to your body. If you feel like something's not right, then like learn about it because the eye people at these institutes might not necessarily be the most helpful. And or they might be. I don't know. But yeah, I hope this was helpful and I hope that you enjoy your new vision and that everything works out for you. Alrighty. Bye.